this view is crazy. So you're telling me every day you came here to record,
Yeah.
you got to enjoy this.
Yep. Even though I really wasn't like just super mega outside, I was very in there and focused, but just even being in this environment was enough for me, like knowing this was outside, getting to be in the sunshine, not shut down in a like really dark place with a bunch of, you know, with no windows essentially. I don't think most recording studios have windows.
They don't. I always end up feeling very claustrophobic in those spaces.
Yeah, it gives stuck in there vibes. I don't like that. I don't like feeling stuck. Yeah, I spent a lot of my time up on that balcony up there while overlooking the ocean, like taking a break from the music. And I think that that's also such a key part of like, when you're working on a project, you guys are so locked in that you have to have moments to like, take these breaks to like let your brain breathe. And if your version of a break to let your brain breathe is to like walk out and you're outside still in the city and like you walk back into the dark, scary room, like that's great, but like this, I want everybody who does that to try this.
Yeah.
Because it's completely different. The crazy thing is it kind of gets really quiet at night. And if you stop the music to take a breather, you can hear the ocean. You can hear it, you can smell it, like there is still like lights that come from, you know, the city that's over there. So it is this cool, and the moon feels like it's extremely bright.
I can imagine.
Over here, for some reason, you can actually see the stars versus, I can't see the stars from, you know, West Hollywood, I'm not gonna lie to you. But out here, so many stars.
Now you just have to show me the inside.
Let's go.
So we just took a little stroll outside and it's stunning. I mean, the album is called Blue Water Road. Is it actually inspired by this scenery?
Yeah, I actually started the album down the street on Blue Water Road at this house. It was an Airbnb that we got for a recording trip, like a writing camp recording trip thing. That was supposed to be for the deluxe of my last album. And then I kind of left and had like a big like spiritual, I don't want to say experience, but I went to a couple ceremonies and came back, and it was just completely different to me. Like the album just didn't sound like, or mentally I wasn't in the deluxe of my last album. Mentally I was super far away from my last album in general. And a couple songs resonated with like something, I guess, that felt just like whatever the next was. We didn't want to lose that, but we also knew we couldn't just like keep running at this person's house down the street. So we found a studio, luckily really close, and it still felt the exact same as, you know, the house down the street. So we just kind of like stayed here and made the whole album here.
How does it feel to be back in this studio not recording the album?
Weird. I definitely walked in here expecting to see like my engineer, and like it was definitely a double take. But I've been here a couple times since not recording the album, just working on like other stuff that I wanted to record since I'm kind of local. So that was weird because I was in here and I found this space while making the album, and it kind of became like synonymous with the album for me. So even recording other things in here, I was like, wow, this means the album is really done and we're really like moving forward. So
I mean, I'm sure you've been in lots of studios over the years. Do you remember the very first studios you were recording in like 10 years ago?
Yeah, Nick Cannon's studio on Ventura. He had his company, Incredible. They had a studio in Studio City. That was the first place. I was also like crashing on the couch and like recording in the studio. And then Atlantic, the original Atlantic Records building on Cahuenga. I was there every day, all night.
Those memories are still fresh.
Super. I mean, I feel like I only have a couple like standout memories specifically from being in the studio, but I remember the action every day of like getting up and going to the same place.
Now, does the actual studio space affect how you feel and how you're recording, how the project turns out?
Yeah, I mean, I've done things like have like recording trips. Like I did some of my favorite songs on my first album in an apartment in Vancouver, Canada.
Really?
Because I went to Vancouver on tour and was like, I love this place. And I was also underaged in America, but not underage in Canada. So I was like living a fully like adult, like bar, out, nightlife life.
Okay.
And it was the perfect place for me to go like record and like have a vibe there, but also get to experience some things that I wouldn't get to experience here. But I think the biggest difference for this studio is just, it's only one room. Mm-hmm. So I don't really have to like run into people. Like I can fully control like all the creative thing that's going on here. And when I exit, it's just like nature. So I'm completely going from like this perfectly centered, like we have the vibe that we want exactly, to like if I need to take a breather, I can literally just go walk outside and look at the ocean. So I don't really think it's beatable.
What's so crazy is the last time you and I talked, I think you were talking to me maybe from your garage. That was still pretty early in the pandemic.
Yeah.
At that point,
Completely different vibe.
It was only your initiative really getting that project out in the videos. You were shooting, it sounded like you were learning to film and edit at the same time, which was a crazy experience for you. What did you take away from that process that you actually brought into recording this album?
I mean, that process is kind of dictating everything I'm currently doing in my life. I have taken a huge leap into directing, a huge leap into film study, just a huge leap into like all these interests that I kind of had before that were just like little passionate, interests of mine that actually became full-time, like things that required actual like application and like dedication, and I'm actually heavily involved in it now, but it wouldn't have been sparked if I hadn't kind of been forced into it by myself, essentially. Like I forced myself, but it felt more of like a universal force than it was just like me being like, I gotta do this. It was like, man, I know this is just time. If I really want this to happen, I gotta make it happen. But I took all of that into this album, especially because I was very just locked in kind of pandemically.
Pandemically, okay.
Pandemically,
I like
I'm
that.
gonna turn that into a word. But I made this album majority pretty much with one person. I mean, me and Pop been working for a very long time, but when we discovered that we were on the same type of time at like the writing camp and like the camp we put together with all these producers and all these people I was hopping around from room to room to room to work with, we were like, we're kind of like, we're here with it. Like, why don't we just keep building? It feels good. And so we just kept coming back to the studio every day until like we had what really quickly felt like an album. Like we made this album in probably like 2 months.
Really? From
Yeah.
top to bottom?
Yeah. I mean, we had like a couple stragglers at the end that were like, oh, maybe we should cut this. Like, but even then the album had been established. Like the reason it took so long to come out, this was gonna come out.
You were teasing us at some point last year, right? That you wanted to have it out
I
even at
finished
the end of
this
the year.
album last summer. Like last summer, but then, the appropriate time for like everybody to do like the business parts they want to do for an album is like, okay, we need months and months and months. So then it's coming out in end of fall. And then it was, nah, we're going to do winter. And then it was like, winter couldn't happen. And then it became like, let's do early February. And I was like, yes. And then I got the call in February, like, you know what? We're thinking April. I was like, at this point, I don't really give a like, I don't really care at this point. I just want people to hear it. And no matter when they hear it, I want them to just say they resonated with it. I guess I can't control the timing of it all. And in retrospect, I dropped an album not too long ago.
Pretty recently, all things
Yeah,
considered.
in like album timelines of typically when people like wait between dropping an album. So like, I didn't really have a reason to rush. I just wanted to.
Well, look, let's chalk that up to the universe again, right? Deciding when the right time is.
Yeah.
So that moment is right now. And also the transition between your albums is interesting, right? So on the last album cover, we saw you sort of looking over...
In distress.
That's a right way to explain it.
Yeah.
And then, when you first released the trailer for this project, we see you sort of
Leaving distress.
leaving the distress
De-stressing.
with the broken leg and everything. Like the imagery is crazy. Tell me about that trailer and why that's the way that you wanted to make that transition.
I really just wanted people to feel like there was okay. I think I really want to make sure that people don't get misconstrued thinking this album is like a meditative healing experience. You know what I mean?
You're
like,
saying you're not reflecting? Because we know you like
I'm
to
always
reflect.
reflecting. I am the most reflective person I know, but sometimes my reflecting is being like, yeah, I'm terrible. I was terrible. I'm better now though. What's up? I'm trying. Yeah. Like sometimes that is my reflecting. It's not always this like, and then spirit came to me and like, da da da. Like, as long as I'm becoming a better person and you can visually hear that, or that I'm just even in a better place, which, is reflective of becoming my best person, then, that's reflective. I really just wanted people to understand that I was physically really leaving the place that I was just in, whether it was like all these new places I was entering in my life with like literally new forms of stability, a really, really, really serious spiritual practice, a really big leap in I guess,
Let's make up a new word. Okay, I thought you were gonna come up with a
No,
new.
yeah, I'm
pandemically.
killing the game, killing the vocab game. But just even just gender, sexuality, like identity, like self-discovery, all these things that were just like I'd always kind of put on the back burner and never really had to like address within myself. I finally, within the span of like a year, was forced very quickly to like address all these things internally. And I feel like that added to the turmoil that was the last project, whether it was I was with people that at some point I didn't even understand why I was with, or like I was around people I didn't understand like what I was becoming or what life was, or like I was at a point where everything was pretty much upside down, and it probably seemed very clear. It probably seemed like I knew what I was doing the whole time. But there was just a lot of, it was a growing period. I'm gonna just say that. I don't despise the person that I was, and I don't despise the things that I went through in that time. It was the tail end of like me having to really like experience all the chaos I had to experience. And the transition I made with, just my religious and spiritual journey, I was kind of 180'd in a way, where I really had to come to a place of like, confrontation with all that stuff I was going through, but also just like I deserve to have the peace that I have now. So just like walking away from the chaos and like fixing my leg and like it going into the altar video. I mean, that dragonfly that sets on fire in the trailer is like, the dragonfly represents transformation, and just like it setting on fire and going into the ground. To me, I had to redefine what that meant to me so many times throughout, the conceptualizing of, the trailer, everything in entirety. It had to be like, yeah, now this week, this is what it means to me. And the next week, actually, I feel like this is what it means to me. But I feel like I've tried to define what my transformation has been so many times, and I just put an end to it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm literally at a transformational state every day, and I'm constantly in a state of just like, I'm gonna be whatever I'm gonna be every single day, and I don't have to always come to this defining point that I feel like from being in the industry for so long, I've always been forced to like come to like an obvious.
Because when you live
point.
a life, where people have access to you and they want more and more access, right? They always want to define you. That's
At
the
all
hard
times.
thing. And I can understand that must put a lot of pressure on you to feel like you also have to define yourself. I mean, honestly, I feel like we've been with you on this journey, watching
Since I
you
was a
grow and
kid.
figure out who you are, since you were 16 years old, which is crazy. And so it's amazing to me that in that year is finally when you feel like you had the chance to like process all of that and come out on the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially in my spiritual practice, the process in which we are rebirthed is referred to as the year. It is a year-long period, literally exactly 365 days, well, plus a week from that, but 365 days roughly. It's a rebirth at the beginning of it, and I feel like the trials that it sends you through within that year is like all these giant things that you probably would learn over like 30, 40 years span gets squished into this year, but you're also given the tools at the beginning of it to say like, they're like, yo, this is what's gonna happen, this is what could happen, this is how you can handle it, this is what you could do, and it's your job at that point to like maneuver through it with faith. So the year was definitely a year. It definitely beat me up, but I couldn't have gotten here any other way. So
No, yeah, you made it and you're glowing on the other side of it. And I think we feel that in the album. This feels like your whole self, right? You're also a mom now. When you put out the last album, your daughter wasn't even a year old,
Yeah.
right? You were talking about that point where you were recording in the garage and then feeding her and then editing and then feeding her, which was like pretty intense. Being a mom now, I understand how taxing that is. And here you are. And even in the video for Altar and on that song, you have always talked about relationships in your music, right? But that one just feels more spiritual. It's not necessarily only about sexual relationships, right? That one makes me think about just family and loved ones and reminiscing. So what was your writing process like this time around?
I mean, what's cool is I think I have always kind of leaned on talking about love, but I'm always stand by the fact that like that'll never get old to write about, because it's the most constant emotion we all experience as people, whether it's like positively or negatively. It's the one thing we can all relate to. So I'm not gonna stop, But there are like 3 or 4 songs on this album that are just about me or about spirituality that aren't related, to just like a relationship. And Alter specifically was about, I've experienced like a lot of like death in my life and just like loss in my life in the form of death. And the past couple years, I think I had lost so many like young friends, like so many friends, so many peers, like just like back to back to back. And then coming from the background of already having lost so many family members young, I got to this point where I was just like, I'm confused. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I had a grip on how to deal with this or like what this means. And to lose so many young people had almost kind of turned my like belief in the fact that like everything happens for a reason or like everything makes sense. I still don't necessarily know if everything happens for a reason because I don't have reasons for a lot of this.
Yeah.
But losing so many young people definitely brought me to a place of like, what is this even,
Yeah, like how can you even justify what that really
I can't make
what it
any of this
means?
make sense.
Yeah.
These are people younger than me sometimes. And I'm just like, how? And my spiritual journey involved a lot of like actual healing and veneration of people who aren't here to do it themselves. And then the communication kicks in. So once the communication kicked in and I was actually seeing and hearing and feeling, the relationship I was putting on one side coming back to me, and it was actually starting to like become super real, I was like, okay, like y'all can actually tell me what y'all need now. Y'all can actually tell me maybe why this made sense. Or it just became this continuous thing that I just now fully understand in a different way. And I wanted to be able to write about it so that I could, offer some people some kind of the same peace. This was such a like grief-filled couple years for the world. Like so many people are mourning, so many people lost people, like, and I didn't want to write about it in just like God, I hate the word vibrational, but like low vibrational, a sad, heavy way.
Yeah.
I really wanted to write it in the angle that I'm now experiencing it, which is like pretty joyful and pretty sweet. Like I enjoy tending to my altars. I enjoy, waiting for those little moments of like, talking back, or like those little funny moments where I'm like, I know who that was and I know why y'all did that. I actually love it now. So I just wanted to kind of offer people the same.
That's why Alter is beautiful and why the video is perfect. It's like you feel really emotional watching it, but in a celebratory way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really happy. It's a little funny one.
It's like a nice full circle moment. It's crazy how therapeutic the music is for you. I mean, on the last project, you also said that as you were writing some songs, it was helping you to understand your parents better.
Yeah.
And even their relationship. And now that
Yeah.
your daughter is even older, I'm wondering what that's been like for you working through this album now as well.
It definitely puts a perspective on being super conscious of what I'm putting out into the world. I do believe in like making whatever art, needs to come out of you in that moment. But I'm also remembering what art shaped me when I was younger. And I don't know if my mom was just really into it or she was just being really intentional. But everything I listened to was so key to my confidence and my understanding that I could just be myself all the time, or my understanding of like how to treat other people, or my understanding of love, or my understanding of identity. Like the India Arie songs that shaped me the most, or the Lauryn Hill songs that shaped me the most, or Music Soul Child, or I don't know, Jill Scott, like all these, it seemed intentional, the songs I was listening to, because there was so much focus on just like love yourself and love yourself and love other people and look like what you want to look like and just like, get some sun and let your hair down. Like there was so much emphasis on just like positive things. Mm-hmm. And I want my daughter to kind of have the same experience of growing up and having these core memories where she can remember like, this came from a song, you know what I mean? And a part of that is my responsibility as an artist as well, of being conscious of other people's children. Mm-hmm. I think in that way now, because of my daughter, of just like, I'm almost reverting back to how I was in the beginning of my career.
Really?
Where I had a lot of music that was super purposefully like messagey, which like I grew up and found that really cringy. But now I'm kind of like respecting it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I like what you did there. You know what I mean? He was onto something. And so now I'm just marrying it with like not being preachy, but also remembering like what standard I want to hold myself to of just like, I can make healing music as a healing person. Like, I don't have to weigh myself down with the expectation that just like music isn't deep if it isn't raging or sad, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't come across as preachy, and then there's some cool as well nostalgic moments like the Slick Rick sample on the project, which is really
Wish I never.
yeah. And I'm curious like how you landed on a beat like that for that record.
I'm gonna be honest, that was all Pop. That was all my producer. We just have such a close relationship where like he can tell me if something will be tight to try that's out of my comfort zone, and I can really tell him if I just hate something. Like, we're at that point where we can really just like I'll be like, you didn't think about it this way? Like, maybe I'm like some of the really pretty, extremely soft stuff on the album or like kind of alternative leaning stuff. I was like, no, trust me, this is so tight. And then the more like perfect example is Wish I Never. He had to really convince me that song should stay on the album.
So you just weren't feeling it.
It's not that I wasn't feeling it. I just felt like it wasn't in the same vein as everything else.
It was unexpected, I'll say that.
It was, but I actually love it now, and I had to really appreciate what it added to the project as like an entirety. And really, that was just a push back into like, I get that you're trying to grow and you're trying to like explore like sonically, you know, you're trying to go in another direction sonically, but like you can't really abandon what you came from. You got to talk a little bit of don't bleep that.
Nice edit there.
And so he was like, just try it. And we just went for it, and the song came out great, and it's one of my favorites now. So now. It's one of my favorites.
It took some time, though.
It took some time.
It took some time. The people you collaborate with on your project, it always feels special. And the story is always like, yeah, they came to the studio. We said, let's just try something. Let's try it. And it came. And like, there's a couple of like really great moments on the album. Like Sid, she's on your project. You also featured on hers.
There's so much music in the vault.
Really?
We just, we'll probably always do music together.
How did you guys decide, I guess, what fit for each other's like album? Because that's a great record.
Thank you. It was just really natural. Like the song existed and it didn't have a second verse, and I just was like, I just hear her on this. Like I just hear her voice. And I actually don't remember who did whose song first. I feel like I did her song first. But we'd already done the Disclosure song like a while ago. And then we also just have music that's just in the vault. So it's like, we're probably gonna flip-flop off each other.
I was gonna say, why are you just telling us this? You're gonna release some of this music at some point?
We hope so. I mean,
okay.
the funny thing is like, this will either come out soon or it will never come out.
Great.
Because we're the same type of person in the way that, first of all, we're both Taurus. Like, let's just start there. We're gonna make a bunch of it and then nothing's gonna happen to it because we're gonna be way too relaxed in the process. But we're the same type of person in the way that like, and I don't want to put words in her mouth or speak for her, but I feel like I understand her because we connect on this kind of like plane. But I feel like I'm a person that makes music. I'm not like a music that makes person. Like I'm not like a musician. I'm a
really?
person.
At this point, you feel that way still?
I'm very grateful to feel this way. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't run me. Like I'm very grateful to have a life, and like I'm passionate about life. And I'm lucky that I get to make music about my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't wake up every day and be like, I'm itchy. I itch if I don't go to the studio and like da-da-da. Like I'm very much past that point. I'm at the point where I'm like, you know, it'd be nice, maybe studio twice a week. And like I should go to the beach other days. And I should like take my kid to the zoo. And I should like maybe, I don't know, go see a movie or like go to the museum. Like those are the things that I'm like extremely passionate about, that I actually like advocate to like all my friends, like this
really
is what I prioritize. You know what I mean? I've given enough. And not to say that in like I'm hella old, any type way like that, because I'm not. I'm so young and I actually have so much to give, but it's
a long
been
time.
so long. This will either be my 6th or 7th project overall. And that's so much music. And then on top of that, just features and interviews and just all this stuff. So I don't feel that same type of pressure to just like output and output and output. You know what I mean? Like I gave a lot of like the vital years of my life that a lot of people are like, outside messing up and like outside trying things. And really, I have friends my age that are just now discovering what they even want to do as a career. And I've been doing my career since I was 13, 14 years old professionally. I'm at that point where I'm like, I kind of just want to be a person. And like, I'll give music when I want to and like exactly how I want to. And it's going to be exactly, you know, the way I want to do it. But I feel like Syd, bringing it back to the question, I feel like Syd is like that in that way because she's also given a lot. But also, she just doesn't care about the floof of any of this. Like, both of us are pretty much over the chess game. I don't think either of us ever truly exactly played the chess game that is all of this. But she just wants to, like, collect her old cars and, like, hang out with her girlfriend and, like, her friends and, like, foster puppies. And I'm like... Same. Like, how about we go look at cars? Or, like, how about we trade each other movies back and forth? Like, we don't have to, like, it doesn't have to be this, we get together and we're, like, plotting on how to, like, drop the collab that takes over the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just not there.
Yeah,
so
we're
that's
just
why
living.
that's why we'll always make music organically.
Wow. Was it like this with everyone you collaborated with on the album? Because, I mean, there's a Jessie Reyes moment, which I'm also really grateful for. Of course, Justin Bieber was on one of the singles, and, like, all of them feel great. Do you have a lot of good life talks with all of these people?
I mean, yeah, all of them are just my friends. Like, all of them are my friends. Like, me and Justin had the other song on his album that was also natural. He was just like, hey, can you come just do this verse real quick? And I just slid to the studio with Pooh Bear, and he just walked me through the verse. And I was like, I didn't even hear the song in full until it was about to come out. And I was like, oh, shoot, like, this is tight. And he's actually super sweet in this way of, like, he will just FaceTime me all the time and be like, you're the future. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Like, you're so great. And just, like, he's really affirming. I really appreciate that about him. Jessie, she's insane to me. Like, in the best way. Just, like, she is the perfect example of just, like, someone doing exactly what they want to do and just being 100% themselves from day one. I can't remember any point of, like, her career that I've been aware of that has felt contrived. Like, it's always just been like, you just want to root for her. She just makes you want to love her, and we all do. Everybody who knows her loves her. She's great. And I'm going to give her all the credit in the world every chance I get. She wrote the song. Like, she wrote the song, and I didn't have her on it at first. It was just me. I had another verse from someone else that ended up just, like, not falling through. And I was like, why did I even think to do this with anyone else? Like, why don't I just keep you on it? And I'd already changed the pronouns and the perspective on the songs to, you know, fit myself. Mm-hmm. But then it became this cool kind of like back and forth where you don't really know who's singing at what time and who's singing about what. But I hope that everybody knows when she says boyfriend, it wasn't me, it was her. So
just to set the record straight.
Just to make it clear. Because even some of my friends that listen to the song have been like, when did Jessie come in? I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, you had to run it back a few times to really, like,
it's
try
doing
to
this
tell.
cool, like, weavy thing. I like it.
You know, whose opinion we really need, though, is Adea. Like, how does she feel?
Oh, you mean my creative director?
Because I know, exactly, like, how does she really feel about this whole thing? Because we know it was honestly her who conceived the whole thing, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah, she is my executive producer of the executive producers. Like, she will forever have a point or 5 on all of my projects because she's really the driving force of everything. She loves all of it. I catch her singing the songs all the time if we're listening to. I try not to, like, just listen to the music all the time because I really don't want to wear it out. I want to love this album as long as I can. I think if I play it too much in private, then I'm going to hate it by the time it comes out. But that also might just be some artist stuff.
Probably is, yeah.
She's 3. She's just happy to be here. She loves being at the studio. She's always like, I want to come to work with you. I'm at work with you. She will, like, say, give me a microphone and, like, ask for a handheld and, like, run around the studio. And I have voice memos of, like, bounced MP3 tracks from the engineers of, like, we cut the track and it's just my daughter, like, with the auto-tune on, just ripping it. So she's leading the drive without even knowing that she's doing it. So, you know, we'll revisit this conversation in like 5 years.
Okay. I mean, is she gonna come with you on tour? Because when you did the last album, since you were home all the time, she was used to seeing you. I'm sure there was a little bit of a transition with you getting back out, going to the studio. Was she there the whole time? And is she gonna really be there with you, like on stage or side stage?
She was there for most of it. I think that that's one of the hardest things about everything since having a kid. But being that my baby was planned, like I knew what it was gonna be. Like I knew there was gonna come a point where I was going to have to be away from her for certain things, or she was gonna be too young to be like on a 10-hour plane ride across wherever. Like I can't take her on a plane ride right now in the middle of like, we don't know what's up with this virus. We don't know what's up with the effects of it on children. Does it make sense to put a 3-year-old on a 10, 12-hour plane ride to get there, and I'm up for promo and then doing this here and doing this here and doing this here, and I'm barely getting any sleep? What does that look like for a child? So there is these moments where I really have to like put my I'm gonna miss you so much to the side and think of what's best for the development of my child. And if that is being with my mother, or being, instead of being in a dark studio room for a day, can we have another room that's bright, and can I bring all her toys, and can like all my friends come hang out with her too? Like it's just these extra thoughts that I have to have all the time of just like, what's the best for her? Because I don't want her to ever feel like I was dragging her along with my life. So with touring, if I'm taking the extra mile to like make sure every venue is really baby friendly, and like we're gonna have like a little nursery going on in the backstage, and just like, you know, alcohol free zones, and just like making sure everything is just like catering to my kid. This is definitely gonna be the opposite of what a tour looked like for me when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
It was chaos. It's gonna be real calm, real chill bus, fucking diffusers everywhere, and
it's crazy being a
Care
working
Bears and
mom,
stuff.
right? It's like you could plan for it, but like you still like once you're in it, it's different.
You never know.
Yeah.
Every day is something I didn't know.
Yeah.
The craziest part is like every single time you cross over the hump, you're like, that was easier than I thought. That was chaotic to me in the heat of it. Like I'm really in the mindful parenting scope. And just like these moments where like she's screaming at me, and I have to really make that active choice in my head where I'm like, damn, remember I said I never wanted to hit a kid? That is crazy. You know, just because of how we're all raised. But I've never even raised my voice at my child. She will scream and I will go, I'm using my stern voice right now, so you know I'm serious.
That's evolution right there.
But we need to sit down and we need to get on the same level, and we need to have a conversation where you can tell me why you're expressing yourself in this way, or why you're feeling this way. But when the screaming first started, I was just like, I remember sitting there like, what is my kid possessed? Like,
Whose
who do
child
I
is
call?
this?
Like, what exorcism do we need right now? So
Look, it's amazing to see you at this point in the journey right now. Like it's cool to continue to watch the evolution, and you look really happy. I think that's the best part of it. Like you look like you're in a good place, you're living life, and I know you love to be on stage. So I'm sure, you know, after the past couple years, you must be really excited to be back out there again, right?
it's my favorite thing in the world. It's my favorite thing in the world. I mean, I was a performer before I was a singer-songwriter. So it's just like what I'm used to. It's just like it's like a playground to me. I get to do whatever I want, have the most fun, and also like finally get energy back for what I've been putting out. You know, I think it's one thing to like make the music and it feels like you're just purging, like it feels like you're just throwing it up. But like when you go perform it and people sing it back to you, it's almost like this crazy like circle of refills that I feel like you just don't get as an artist any other way. Like people can tell you what you've done for them. They can, which I appreciate. I love that. And I love when people like write to me and stop me and tell me things, but something about them singing the music back to me, or like the look on their faces when like the song is meaningful to them, it's just priceless. I don't think there's anything else like it.
Congratulations on the album, and big congrats to Adea for all her hard work. You know,
She's the one.
executive producing
This is her album.
this album.